All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? Back with a mammoth slate here tonight. We got 12 games on the docket for NHL here. NFL going on tonight, Thursday Night Football. Our guys, Hoop, Tambo, and Title will be right here on this channel breaking down that Thursday Night Football showdown about noon today. So head over there, check that video out if you haven't already. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. If you're not a member yet and you want access to the Stone, you want access to my core plays, my slate plan, the coveted matchup sheet that I've been showing on these videos, no better time than now. Use that promo code NBA15. Last chance to get locked in, 15% off. Any membership plan doesn't include our Shiptimizer as well. So if you use that promo code with Shiptimizer, all sports, premium access for everything, including the Stone for all sports, is just $85 a month. If you want just one sport only, or premium access with no optimizer, I believe it's about $60 a month, give or take. So like I said, no better rate than NBA 15 right now. Get you locked in. But let's jump in. Let's talk this slate. We got 12 games to talk about here. Massive slate. Some of these teams on a back-to-back, obviously, with the 3-game slate we had yesterday. But let's jump in. Let's talk. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And we're going to start on the matchup sheet here, kind of just go through overall. First game, don't really have much interest in. The 5.5 total there from a number standpoint, nothing really lines up too good for me. Same thing, Islander Senators, really not too interested in that game either from a DFS perspective. Panthers, Preds on a back-to-back. I think this is a great spot here for Florida, hence the heavy total there, or the heavy favorite, heavy implied total. Same thing for the Devils. Devils are in a pretty good spot. Same thing for the Rangers. The Hurricanes are in a good spot. Tampa isn't in too bad a spot either, as you can see there, right? Flyers bleed goals, especially on the road. Same thing with the Stars. So overall, kind of grand scheme overview, looking at our matchup sheet here, that kind of breaks it down. Some definitely heavy concentrated spots to target here, and I'll do my best to talk through it. But there's a lot of good spots. I mean, I listed six top spots on the slate plan for members over here at SHIPIT Nation. You can definitely probably list a couple more than that even, looking at the matchup sheet here. So ownership should spread out for the most part tonight because there is a lot of great spots overall. But let's jump in. Let's throw up the Stone, as you can see here on the screen. This is the PDF version. Basically, if you jump over to the website, like you see here up on the screen, you go to NHL, you go to the Stone. As soon as it loads here, you can download it to Excel or PDF right here. I just click the PDF version, and it'll look like this. It's a little bit easier to read, especially if you're on mobile. A lot easier here. So let's talk first game on the slate here. Actually, this is still from yesterday here. So hold on, this is still showing last night's Stone when I do PDF. So let's go back here and let's just go on the website for now. I'm not sure why the PDF is not working right there, but same thing works right here on the Stone. First game, we have the Flames and the Bruins. This is a 5.5 total here. From a DFS perspective, personally, I don't have a ton of interest here. Could you always spend up for a Pastrnak? Yeah, absolutely. I will say Charlie Coyle's got a nice value price point at 3,600. He's probably my favorite play on the Bruins side. Top power play, 3,600. Center's pretty weak at center value. Excuse me, it's pretty weak overall typically. So I don't hate that. On the Flames side, not too much interest. I mean, Sharon Govich still got a decent price point. I will say Backlund, Coleman, and Coronado are probably my favorite stack, the second line stack there. But really don't want to target a 5.5 total on a 12-game slate. Really don't want to target a team heading into Boston, face the Bruins on home ice. So for me, DFS-wise, Boston and Flames is kind of a cross-off spot. Can't play them all. That's one I'm not really too interested in. Jump to the next game here, the Islanders and the Senators. You still got good value on the Islanders side here. Kyle Palmieri coming off a massive game. He's $5K, not the terrible price point, but Anders Lee, 4,900. He did get a price bump, but JPG, Jean Gabriel Peugeot, right? 3,500. Still really didn't get that much of a price bump. I mean, I think he went up $500 from that Tuesday slate, and he scored a goal. He's 3,500, top line, top power play. He's still one of the best value plays on the slate, even in this matchup against the Senators. Don't hate that. But for me, this is another spot where I'm kind of targeting both these goalies. Sorokin at 7,400, great play in tournaments. The Senators' top power play is really good. So if you wanted to target the Senators, I would focus on Tim Stützle, Norris, Brady Tkachuk, Batherson, and Jake Sanderson. Just that top power play would be the guys I'd kind of look at. Claude Giroux's been playing good at 4,500. If you want to go there, he gets a ton of minutes. He's not the worst play in the world. But again, a game that from a DFS perspective, I'm kind of under on. Just some one-offs or mini stacks here. Probably not going to 4- or 5-man stack either one of these teams for sure here tonight. I just like other spots more. It's kind of like the chalkier spots tonight, but with so many chalk spots, so many heavy favorites, like 5 or 6 of them, ownership should spread out. So that's kind of the games I'm targeting. But I wouldn't fault anyone for going to the Ottawa side in the top power play. I just respect Sorokin enough in goalie that really don't want to pick on him too much. And then same thing, Forsberg's been pretty great this season. And at home ice, Senators been decent. So really don't want to target either one of those goalies too much here. 2 games I didn't have a ton of interest in leading into the next game here. This is one of my favorite spots of the night here. Predators coming to Florida to face the returning Stanley Cup champs. And on a back-to-back here, Florida should absolutely smash this team here. Absolutely love Florida. Barkov, too cheap. Sam Reinhart, been playing out of his mind. He's a great pairing stack partner. And then you got Ivan Rodriguez here at 3,600 to middle that stack price down a little bit there. So Barkov, Reinhart, Rodriguez, really like them a lot. Ekblad, Gustav Forsling, 2 great value D-men there overall. And then Uves Balinskis here as well, 2.6K on that top power play. I mean, Florida should absolutely steamroll this Preds team. They're on a back-to-back. Wedgwood has not been good in net. He's going to go tonight likely with them on a back-to-back here. So Florida, absolute smash play, one of my 3 favorite stacks, top 3 favorite stacks on the slate. Like them all. You can even jump down in this third line and play a guy like Anton Lundell, who's good, Eetu Luostarinen, who I like a ton, and then Jesper Bovequist here overall, super cheap. No ownership, really going to go to them. A lot of people don't like playing the depth lines, but Lundell's good. Eetu Luostarinen has been good. Bovequist, you can throw him in there if you want to, but overall, like all these guys, lines 1 through 3 firmly in play for me from the Florida side. On the Preds side, not a ton of interest, not going to them really. I mean, Roman Josi, you can always get up to the great Roman the Great, right, from a D-man perspective, but at 7,800 on a 12-game slate, typically don't want to go there, so not a ton of interest there. I will say Bobrovsky at 7.9K is a nice play at home. A little bit cheaper than some of those 8K, 8,400, 8,500 favorite goalies like we're going to talk about when we get to Dallas and things like that. So Bobrovsky at 7,900, I think he's a solid play in that as well with the Preds on a back-to-back here. Jumping to the next game here, Canadiens and the Devils here. Love this spot again here as well. Jersey should steamroll this team here. Canadiens on the road this season have been super leaky. Expected goals against is approaching 4. Their actual goals against over their road trips this season are over 4. Their penalty kill is decent, but they give up a lot of high danger chances. So I do like these Devils quite a bit. Devils going to be super popular, as you can see here, projected to be mega chalk. I probably put the Rangers ahead of them, Dallas ahead of them, Florida ahead of them at the comparable ownership, but Devils still a great play here. Jack Hughes, great option. Nico Hischier, you can really get different just pairing those 2 guys together. They correlate together on the power play. Throwing in like a Jesper Bratt there, and then throwing like a Dawson Mercer to middle that, who correlates with Nico Hischier there, obviously on a different power play line there, but still solid options. Nothing really bad to say about the Devils. If I were going to them, I'd probably just focus on the power play, to be honest, because you get cross line correlation there. So Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, throwing a Jesper Bratt, Stefan Noesen in there. Even throwing a Dawson Mercer, who's on that second power play, but skates with Nico, full line strength. So a couple different ways to go there. On the Canadian side, no interest realistically here, I do think Jacob Markstrom's pretty solid. He's been good. He's been good against Montreal in his past as well. He's been solid this year, as you can see there by the numbers. So Cole Caulfield, maybe as a one-off. This dude's just a complete stud. Don't hate him. Mike Matheson. Those two guys can be played any slate, but realistically, not a ton of interest there. Savard, Lane Hudson, two solid value D-men that you can definitely go to for sure. Jump to the next game on the slate here. This is a team that should absolutely smash as well here. Sabres coming off a massive win on Tuesday night. I think they won 5-1 in that game against Ottawa, I believe. But Rangers on home ice here facing UPL, who is coming off a massive game. However, Rangers just complete wagon. I think Rangers are a way better team here for sure. And at the ownership, I prefer the Rangers more than the Devils here tonight. Just not seeing a lot of ownership go to these Rangers. Mika's starting to turn it around. I like him a lot at 5,600. You compare him with Artemi Panarin now, who's up to that top line with Mika and Alexis Lafreniere. I really like that top line stack there. You get two guys on the power play there. You can definitely throw in a Chris Kreider at 5,400, who seems to be underpriced for his talent on that top power play there. If you want a nice little two-man stack too, you can go with Philip Chittle, Chris Kreider, and Kaapo Kakko overall. That three-man stack, super cheap, super gonna be unowned, right? Nobody likes to target the third liners, but if I am playing the third line, usually like to play it on home ice, so I don't hate that. If you're not going to the Zibbies, the Trocheks, the Panarin, the Kreiders of the world, don't be afraid to throw in a Chittle, throw in a Chris Kreider on that stack, still get you power play correlation, and then throw in a Kakko at 2.8K, basically still in minimum as well. So I like that a lot. Ryan Lindgren, one of the best value D-men on the slate at 2.8K. He plays close to 20 minutes, going to block a ton of shots. I like him a lot, so I don't hate that. On the Sabres side, not a lot of interest in the Sabres. I'm fading the Sabres here against the Rangers. I do like Igor probably the most as my favorite spend-up goalie above 8K. It's probably Igor. So I really like the Rangers in the spot for sure. Jump to the next game here. Another spot I really like. I'm a slappy for Carolina here. Love Carolina. They're so deep. They play aggressive. They just control the zone, fire a ton of shots on net. And I'm going right back to the well. Flop leg spot on Sebastian Aho, who let us down on Tuesday. Right back to the well with him. Svechnikov. Martin Necas has been absolutely on fire. Love him at 6,600. Seth Jarvis, love him as well. Jack Roslovic's been playing out of his mind. He's still 4.3K skating next to Aho. That's a good price point there. And then you got some solid D-man options here with Slavin, Brent Burns, and Shane Gospas here. Dmitry Orlov's also playing out of his mind right now at 3K. Only issue with Carolina is they're so deep. Scoring comes from all over. Obviously, as you saw, you saw that Tuesday night. Kakanemi, even a great option at 4K. I like these guys a ton. Love Carolina. I think you can play in multiple different ways. For me, line one is always going to be my favorite with Svech, Aho, and Roslovic. Roslovic's too cheap for 4,300. Svech and Aho are just complete studs. They're a little bit cheaper than kind of that 8K range where a lot of the studs are priced at. So I like them. I like them a ton here. I think they can definitely get some goals on the Pens here. Ned has been pretty solid in net. I think as a tournament option, if you're looking for a punt goalie, he'd probably be my favorite option outside of Sorokin, sub 7,500. So Ned, I don't hate him at 7,100 if you're not playing Carolina, but it's just tough going into Carolina. They control the matchups here. I just think they're kind of outmatched. So like Carolina a ton. On the Penguins side, pretty much a complete fade for me outside of Matt Grzelcyk at 3,500, just top line, top power play, just hard to ignore that price point there. So I don't hate that for sure. Rickard Rakell, same thing in that mid-tier 5,300. He's slightly underpriced for what his talent and upside looks like. Next game on the slate, not a ton of interest here. Tampa, you can definitely play them, but I like the other spots more. Certainly, you can play Cirelli, Kucherov, and Hagel. That's a nice cheap stack there with Cirelli up to that top line with Braden Point injured. So I don't hate that, but realistically, not a spot I'm looking to target. On either side here, Vasilevsky at 8,100, definitely a solid goalie. Don't mind him if you're spending up, but I do slightly prefer Shesterkin for $100 more. But Vaz, still a really good goalie, still a nice price point there. So I don't hate that. On the Flyer side, Jamie Drysdale at 3,300, still solid value there from a defense perspective. You can always play Konechny anytime, any slate. Broke the slate on Tuesday in a tough matchup. This dude's matchup proof, basically. So 6,700, you can definitely play him. Morgan Frost is playing well right there. You got a nice little, pretty cheap, full line, fully correlated stack with Morgan Frost, Konechny, Tippett. But realistically, not a spot I'm looking to get to too often. Konechny, fine one-off anytime he's on the slate. The dude's always priced 6,500, 6,700 in that range and has 30-point upside always. So definitely like that if you're looking for kind of a contrarian option there in that upper mid-tier for wing. Jumping to the next game here on the slate, not a ton of interest personally for me. Yeah, you can definitely play these teams, but on a massive slate like this, just not looking to kind of overcomplicate things. I'm just going in on where I like. So for me, pretty much a pass spot outside of a Parayko at 5K as a defender or a Jordan Kyrou. Two of those guys I don't hate. Busnevich at 5,100. He's a fine option. But that's about it for me in this game. Not really getting to either side too often here. Parayko, probably my favorite play at 5K. He's just been great. He has a ton of upside from a defense standpoint, and he's 5K. So don't hate that. Jump to the next game here. I expected them to be chalkier than what they are. This is another team that I probably put ahead of Jersey for the projected ownership here. It's the Stars at home. Stars are a wagon, and now they get they get Chicago on a back-to-back here. Chicago coming into town after playing last night, and I mean, I just think they can get the job done here. I mean, Dallas is a better hockey team. They don't have a back-to-back where they're coming from Chicago out to Dallas. Obviously, they played at home last night. Now they jump on a plane, head all the way across the country to Dallas from Chicago. They did get absolutely steamrolled last night too by the Red Wings. So I just think this is a smash spot here for Dallas. Dallas is a better team in my opinion. You got three centers that are all great options in that 5K range. Wyatt Johnston, Rupia Hintz, Duchene, all great plays. You can play them all. Love them all. If you're looking to kind of get different, you could probably play two of them together with like a Wyatt Johnston, a Rupia Hintz, and then throw in a Robertson who correlates on that top power play, and then a Jamie Benn. You get four guys on the top power play and two guys from two lines. So I really like that stack a lot. Wyatt Johnston, Rupia Hintz, Robertson, and Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn and Wyatt Johnston correlate together in 5v5. And on the power play, same thing with Rupia Hintz and Robertson. So I really like that. Miro Heiskanen at 5.1K, great option in that mid-tier for a defender. So overall, love the Stars here. Stars, one of my favorite stacks of the night. Blackhawks back-to-back with travel. Soderblom's going to be in that. I just think he's outmatched here. So absolutely love Dallas. On the Blackhawks side, Foligno's playing out of his mind right now. You can play him. And then the guy that's even playing better is Ryan Donato at 3.1K, skating next to Bedard. Connor Bedard just opens so much stuff up. And Donato at 3.1K, top line, top power play. He's definitely a great value wing. From a defensive standpoint, Alex Vlasic, same thing. Solid punt defender. Wyatt Kaiser, another solid punt guy. But definitely love the Stars here tonight. Stars, one of my favorite stacks of the evening. Jumping to the next game here, it's the Jets and the Avs here. I like the Jets in this spot. Jets just are absolutely insane. They're just, I mean, like I said, I say it every show, the best team in hockey. They're 12-1 to start the year. Now they get the Avs here. Avs, Lakeinen did get a slight price bump to 5K. He's still probably $1,500 too cheap here, I would say, at least in this matchup. So he's another great option. And if you're looking for a contrarian option, he did score last slate right on Tuesday when he was 3,500. Now he got a $1,500 price bump. He was 45% owned on that slate. Now he's going to be sub 5%. And he's still too cheap. I mean, this dude's a 6,500 7K player, and he's at 5K skate next to Rant and McKinnon. Just naturally, you have just so much upside skate next to those two that you got to have a ton of interest in him. So at 5K, even in this tough matchup, I don't hate him as a one-off. Probably the only guy I'd go to on the Avs side. I just like the Jets a lot more in this spot. Scheifele, Connor, Velarde, Gabriel Velarde at 4.6K, still way too cheap. I don't know what DraftKings is doing with this dude. Ehlers, same thing. Ehlers finally got somewhat of a price bump at 5,700, but still a great option there. You got Nemesnikov at 3K, getting power play time. Perfetti, Nino Niederreiter just continues to crush at 3.9K. Don't mind him for sure. So love the Jets side. Fading the Avs here outside of Lakeinen. I think Arturi Lakeinen at 5K. Nobody wants to play him after he was almost 50% owned on Tuesday on a massive slate. Going right back to the well with him. Like I said, I still think he's underpriced, so don't hate that. Next game on the slate here, Vancouver and the Kings. Not a ton of interest for me in this one. I do think Kevin Lakeinen is solid in from a goalie standpoint. The Nucks have been playing better. They're definitely threats to break a slate at any time. I don't think it's in a matchup against the Kings when the Kings are at home, can dictate the matchups. Kings just a pretty solid defensive hockey team always overall. They're actually the best team in the league on home ice in terms of expected goals against. So for me, this game's pretty much a fade outside of Lakeinen in the mid-tier at goalie. Darcy Kemper is a solid option too if you're looking there. I will say Brant Clark, always a fine option from a defensive standpoint. Jordan Spence, same thing. Not a terrible option there. But for me, pretty much a fade spot for GPPs in terms of the skaters. Last game on the slate here, late night hammer spot for the Wild. The Wild should absolutely steamroll the Sharks. Sharks are one of the worst teams in hockey here. I will say Macklin Celebrini here at 4.9K. He's still a fine option. You can pair him with Toffoli and then throw in a Timothy Liljegren for a nice cheap little 3-man power play stack there. Definitely have upside anytime they're on the slate, so I don't hate them. Even Mikael Granlund, but at 6.4K, probably would leave Granlund off. Just don't like paying that price point for him. On the flip side, the Wild, love Eriksson Ek here, love Matt Boldy here, Marcus Johansson at 2.8K. Love that 3-man stack there. You get two guys on the top power play, and then you can throw in a Brock Faber who correlates with them on that second line and the power play for a nice little 4-man stack there. You get kind of full line strength correlation and then obviously power play correlation. So I like that quite a bit. Wild should kind of steamroll this team. Freddie Gaudreau at 3K, definitely a solid value option again. Marco Rossi, Kaprizov, definitely one of the best spend up on the slate. Can't go wrong. He plays the most minutes probably out of anybody on the slate from a spend up wing perspective. I mean, the dude gets double shifted, moved all over there. So obviously you can see he averaging over 22 minutes, which is kind of unheard of from a wing. So obviously you can play him any slate. He's probably my favorite spend up if I were going to that. I prefer him over Rantanen. I prefer him over McKinnon tonight. I prefer him over a lot of guys, even Kucherov and things like that, just because how versatile he is and then the matchup against the Sharks. But that's going to do it. Kind of covered all the spots I'm looking at here tonight. Again, if you guys are not a member yet and you want access to it, go to shipitnation.com. You click this box right here at the top of the screen as soon as it loads right here, monthly access, $85. Prorates that NBA 15 promo code in there. You get an optimizer. As you can see here, you get the premium Discord. You get the Stone for all the sports, and you get all of our projections, ownership, everything, plus the Discord access. Cheapest all-in rate in the industry. No better time than now to join. That promo code will be going away, and it will jump back up to $100 a month, which is still a bargain. I mean, places out there are charging more than $85 a month just for NBA alone without an optimizer. So you make the decision out there. Pay less for content, play more in DFS contests. That's kind of our motto over here at Ship It Nation. But that's going to do it. Good luck tonight in those contests. Hope to see those Ship It Nation logos at the top for myself, Nadesify. Let's ship it.